My final guest of the hour is Tim Ryan. He is U.S. Chair and Senior Partner of PwC. He sat down with me just a short while ago to talk about PwC's massive new global strategy, how to build trust, and his commitment to closing the opportunity gap in this country.
Tim, great to be with you today. Listen, I just feel like we're in this time when the social contract between people out there, customers, workers, companies, governments, is under a lot of stress and being rethought out. You and I have talked over the years about how companies need to rethink some of these equations. And you have come out now with the new equation. Tell us what's on your mind, what's on the dashboard as you look at the future of PwC, and tell us what problems you're trying to fix.
Yeah, thanks, Steve, and thanks for having me here today. We spent a couple of years really studying where the world was going. We talked to hundreds of clients, future employees, current employees, investors, policymakers. We studied the big trends like asymmetry of wealth and education and food security, polarization, climate disruption, tech disruption. And what became crystal clear, Steve, is the defining issue and opportunity for companies all across the globe over the next 10 years. And that's what our clients expect us to do, peek around the corner for 10 years. The defining issue is trust. And companies that embrace it and have the ability to be trusted, they'll win, and those who don't will struggle. What's important is, as we studied it, the bar is going up on every topic and the number of topics is increasing. So you rattled off a bunch of areas. Today, many people think about trust as financial reporting or tax compliance, but it goes to worker pay, worker safety, goes to working conditions, it goes to data security, data privacy, ethical use of data, ethical use of artificial intelligence, tax transparency, tax morality, D&I, ESG, and the number of topics that employees, customers, investors, communities expect companies to be involved in and have a point of view, they're only going up. And we see that as a major opportunity for companies to differentiate and to win. And the new equation that we launched just recently, our new global strategy, $12 billion of investments, 100,000 new jobs, is all positioned so we can help our clients capture the upside in that environment that we see over the next 10 years.
I mean, 100,000 new jobs is a very, very big commitment. And I know as well, something that we've discussed before is your action as a co-founder of CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion, CEO Action for Racial Equity. You know, you've been looking at this diversity question and challenge for a long time. Tell us, how is that going? How are your own employees acclimating to this? And what lessons have you learned that you can share with others that can be copied?
Yeah, great question. I'll unpack that into two pieces. When I look at the 100,000 net new jobs, I'm thrilled about that. We'll give 100,000 more people the opportunity to have careers, grow careers. What I'm equally excited about is a big part of this strategy is investing in our existing employees. Over the last 3 years, we've invested in their digital upskilling, and we've made digital upskilling the equivalent of an employee benefit, where our people are constantly getting new skills to help them serve our clients better and become more valuable and confident in themselves. Over the last 3 years, we've invested in our people in inclusive leadership. We'll continue to invest in our people. So the next on the docket is ESG training for everybody, because if we're serious about building trust, serious about investing, it starts with our people first. If we do it right, Steve, our talent is going to be the most sought after talent in the world. And I'm okay with that. I want our people to do well because we're investing in them. So part one is what we've learned by investing in upskill and inclusion. The more you invest in your people, the better professionals, the happy they are, and the better we can serve our clients. Big part. Now let me go to CEO Action for a second. We just celebrated our 4-year anniversary of CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion. We have over 2,000 CEOs who are part of it. We've reached over 1 million employees across the country, raising awareness around inclusive leadership, helping people to understand what it's like to be Black in the workplace, a woman in the workplace, Latino in the workplace, and the like. We've made great progress. But what we learned was the power of convening. What we learned is on these very fast evolving, very complicated issues, we learned that convening, getting people together, accelerates the learning curve. It was because of what we did on CEO Action that gave us great confidence, coming back to new equation, to launch our $300 million Tomorrow Takes Trust initiative. And the flagship element of that is our Trust Institute, where we will take over 10,000 current and future C-suite executives through the Trust Institute, where we help get them ready together for this world that we're going into over the next 10 years. We have 9 tracks that we'll be taking people through, building a culture of transparency. Why? Because we're entering the golden age of data transparency. How do you drive inclusive leadership, cybersecurity and privacy by design, corporate governance? Each of these tracks will help executives to be better positioned as the bar raises to lead on trust. And we wouldn't have gotten here had we not learned the power of convening, sharing, learning, and pushing each other through CEO Action for Diversity and Inclusion.
Tim, I know these things you're doing and trying to do in your company and for your clients, and also I want to get to the whole issue of purpose and your commitment to embedding purpose in everything your folks do. But there's elements that are kind of tough that I'm really interested in. I lurk on your Twitter feed, and I saw a fascinating thing where PwC has committed to extend the lifetime support for transgendered health-related costs from $25,000 to $75,000. You're putting millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars into career building and to colleges for young Black and Latinx folks and dealing with this. So you're kind of filling in all these squares, which I find admirable. What I'm interested in is you look at America today, and rather than seeing a country where everyone may feel like they're part of a healthy democracy, what we see are people sort of kind of tribal. They've got their tribe, their group they fit in. And I'm interested in what is the playbook of getting people to say, wow, that transgender gesture helps me too. Helping Black and Latinx students get ahead and build their careers helps me too. And I'm just interested in that, how do you resolve those tensions that I know have to exist at some level, even inside your company?
Yeah, so Steve, thanks for the question. And let me start by saying we at PwC, nor do I have all the answers. I'll start with that humbly and let you know that. But I'm going to go first to the Trust Institute. This is why this is important, because you just highlighted some of the very real challenges, not only I have as a CEO, but that hundreds of CEOs have across the country. So this is why the Trust Institute is so important, to teach and learn these skills. Now, let me come down to my own learnings, because that was the question that you asked. Stephen, what I've found is that many people come from positions, but in their positions that are taken on data, facts, or data and facts from their perspective. But when you make it human and you make it about 2 individuals sitting across face to face, I've found that most people care. And when you get people who are interested in caring about other human beings, and it's at the human level, and it's not a statistic on a page or a chart on a TV show that's a 6-minute TV show, I've found that that's where you can make real progress. So what I've found works and bridges the divide the most is where you make it human, where you help people understand. And I got to tell you, that's where my biggest learnings have come. I've read plenty of books, I've read plenty of research papers, I've studied plenty of data. But when I meet on one-on-one with someone who's transgender, one-on-one someone who's Black in the workplace, one-on-one with a woman who's trying to figure out how to balance COVID and work and make it all work, man, I tell you, like, I mean, it shows in my spine now. That's when it makes it real for me. I've found that works the most. And I think the biggest challenge for CEOs is learning you don't have to have all the answers, but if you can bring people together, you can then start to get real acceleration that's sustained.
Well, I think that's a powerful answer. Let me just ask you finally, Tim, about your commitment to purpose. Purpose is it can mean a lot of different things. And we've also been through an era where purpose has been perhaps, used too much in ways that weren't real. As you talk to your clients, as you're looking at building trust in the Trust Institute, you're doing all these elements and looking at how we embed purpose in our firm and in our clients. What do you tell them on how to make it real as opposed to not real?
Yeah, so my first piece of, whenever somebody asks me that question, the CEO, I tell them thank you, because at least they're thinking about the right things. They're asking the right questions, which most of the time we just have to ask the right questions and listen. The first thing I would share with them is purpose needs to move from the corner of something that's separate to the mainstream of the organization. And that's a journey. We're heading there. I'm optimistic that we'll get there in corporate America, but it needs to become mainstream, not someone's own job or special job on the executive team. Some people running business unit A, business unit B, business unit C, they need to see it, feel it, and believe it. So it needs to move mainstream in the company into the leadership team. That's my first piece of advice. The second one is I would advise companies, don't let it become an either or debate. Profit and shareholders versus purpose. Because with all due respect, that is trying to make this way too simplistic. And I'll just give you one example, Steve. All the rage right now is inflation. That's all the rage right now. You talk to CEOs, talk to people on TV, what's the Fed going to do? It's all about inflation. One of the biggest reasons people are concerned about inflation right now is cost of labor is going up. We have more jobs than we have supply. By the way, the full-time workforce in the United States is decreasing. Purpose is what attracts employees. You want to win the war for talent? You need to stand for something. You want to win the war for talent? You got to have purposeful work at the individual level. Want to win the war for talent? You have a workplace that isn't toxic and that where people can really be themselves. So purpose needs to come into the mainstream because that's how you're going to win the war for talent. Other than that, your cost of wages are going to keep going up and up and up and up, and that's not long-term sustainable. So those are some of the things that we talk about. I think we're heading in that direction. I see the next 10 years as a massive accelerator in that direction.
Well, Tim Ryan, U.S. Chair and Senior Partner for PwC, congratulations on the steps you're taking. Fascinating to hear them, and thanks for joining us for our big ESG summit.
Thank you, Steve, for having me. Appreciate it. Take care.